So, welcome back beekeepers and future beekeepers. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take this disposable cooler, reusable, biodegradable, compostable, and we're going to turn it into a swarm box. One of the first things we want to do, since we're going to be building stuff inside here, we're going to do what we need to do in the back first. First thing I'd like to do is cut a vent in the top, and that will allow the air to go through where we're going to make an entrance hole, and whatever attractants you have will flow in and out, which will attract your swarm or your scout bees first. So let's go ahead and get started. So it really don't matter as long as it's high. You might want to keep it towards the back. So after you've cut that hole, you want to poke it through to the outside like that. And you want it to be like a little awning, you might say. And then we're going to take a piece of screen just to cover it so they inadvertently don't make that the entrance or any other animal. A vent hole for the warm air to go out with the smell of your swarm attractant. You can use anything for that. There's a lot of them you can look up online. Lemongrass is one of them. You want anything to kind of mimic the smell that they're used to for the pheromones. So hopefully you can see that. Just take a screen, cut a piece, put it over the hole, and you use the glue gun. So when we get to the front, we're going to cut a hole in an entrance hole here, and it's going to have we're going to cut it just the opposite of that one. It's going to have a landing board to poke out towards the bottom so they can fly in, check it out, and the swarm can come flying in. But we've got a few things we need to do first. We're going to kind of give that back a little bit more structure, and that would be by adding a little piece of wood in there. So you can do that by saying, okay, I can measure it up to here. You use a paint paddle for this, so you want to use 2 of these. So you're just going to glue this on the back. Take the hot glue gun, we're just holding it in place. Put some hot glue on this. And we're just going to glue that in place like that. Now after that's set up, we're going to take and put some holes right next to it. Watch you don't poke through your finger. So it's going to be 4 holes. So now you've got 4 holes in here that you poked in there with the screwdriver. That's pretty much going to tell you where to put this other piece of paint paddle. I just have scrap pieces there of wood that pretty much just like a paint paddle. So this is where you want to put the other piece. I'm going to put it in between there, just like that. So we're going to hot glue gun that area. And all this is doing is adding a little bit more structure to this box, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to run wire through there, and that's what's going to hang it up there. The one I made, we actually tied the wire to a long piece of bamboo and stuck it up in what we call pepper trees down here. And by doing so, we just tied it around the bamboo and took the whole piece of bamboo and just pushed it into the pepper tree, got it in position, wired the bottom of it so it don't kick down or blow out. But it was successful, and it did attract a swarm. So here's an example of last year, 2023. And as you can see, we did get some swarms out of that. So we're going to cut a piece of this. Depending on the type of wire you have, you might want to double up on it. So you just run that through from the inside. Give it a nice little twist there. Don't poke yourself in the eye. And do the same with the bottom two holes. Don't cut yourself short. Give yourself plenty so you can wrap around your piece of bamboo or 2x4 or whatever you're going to put it up in a tree. You've got a favorite tree, you're actually just going to attach it to the tree. Just remember, you're going to have to take it down. You don't want to make it too difficult to take down. So, as you can see, we have our vent in. We have a little extra support for the back. This is pretty solid. So, what we can do next is the fun part. We're going to decorate it, try to make it attractive inside for the bees. Bees, from my experience, they like it dark on their home. So, making that this vent hole has a little awning to it, that makes it that much more darker in there. I've used buckets, and some buckets you use allow light in through it. It's not as dark as they'd want it to be, so I lined it with cardboard and stuff like that. I was successful with buckets both ways, but I believe they like it dark. If you've ever had experience in your hive with your queen and so on and so forth, you'll see her go away from the light. So, but in the hive, they like it dark. So they're going to look at all that. And you might want to check this if you're reusing it to make sure they don't propylize it, the vent, so which would seal it off. So next thing we're going to do is, like I said, make it attractive inside for them to build comb. So we're just going to take and cut a piece of wood. You can use paint paddles for this, but right now I'm using branches. You can get creative on all this stuff here. So you kind of just want to measure it to put a couple sticks in there. This does taper inward, so you might have to cut a couple times. So take your hot glue gun, put a little extra reason to keep it there on there. Let's go ahead and put another one in there. And it can angle, because inside of trees and whatnot are not perfect, so it can be just like that. You can get creative on this part. So let's go ahead and put one more towards the front. Got that one high towards the front. We're adding some more hot glue. Okay. See what I meant about working your way out of this. So now we've reinforced the back. We've made our vent with a little screen in it. We've added some structure in here for them to put comb on. Now we're going to set this part aside. And we're going to work with the front. We're going to cut a hole here, and we're going to bend it down to make it more of a landing board. So let's go ahead and do that. I think I'm going to cut it from the inside. Get some of this stuff out of my way. So you just want to take your utility knife. You're not going to cut the entire square out. You're just going to cut the two sides of the hole and the top of the hole. Okay. Being that this is the bottom, then you want to be able to do that. Now that's somewhat of a landing board for them. So this is going to seal up like that. They're going to fly in. Your scouts are going to measure it and so on and so forth. They're going to go back and tell their potentially swarming colony that I found a place. The other scouts are going to do the same. They're going to come to an agreement of which one is more suitable for them, and hopefully they'll come back here and fly right into here, and you'll catch a swarm. What will happen when they go in here, they'll start making comb, and you'll have to do a cutout. And I'll explain a few details on that. This is how this actually goes on. We're going to seal it up, and I'll show you how nice and snug that fits, but I want to show you something you can give yourself a little reassurance that this isn't just going to fall off while you've got it up in the tree. So you take these little clips, stationary type clips, and you can add to it. Just push them on there. Yep. Two would probably be good, but I'm going to go ahead and do 4. Like I said, you're going to have to get back in here. A little bit bigger one of these might help. There you go. That won't allow that to come out. All of this is up to change. If you come up with any other ideas, you can add actually, if you would, put them in the comments and help other people. But you could actually just poke holes and wire it, zip tie it. You could try to super glue it in there, but like I said, you want to leave yourself access to get back in there. So once you do catch a swarm, it's easier on you to open it up. So you got to think about things like getting it down out of that tree, getting into it to cut your swarm out, or cut your comb out, your colony, and put it into your hive box. Other things you can do is take some beeswax and you can smear it inside there. So you're taking the beeswax and you're just smearing it in different random places. So that's also a smell that they're familiar with. So they say, well, somebody else must have found this attractive for them. You can also add a little water protection, you might say, for areas that might be an issue. You can get that to stand up there a little bit like that. You can paint the top with a little bit of the wax to repel any rain and stuff like that. They do stand up pretty good. So you've added wax to it to make it more attractive for the bees. You've added your little sticks in there, or paint sticks, whichever you decide. So you can come back over here and paint the entrance with a little bit of wax. All you're trying to do is make this like their #1 choice to swarm and come into your swarm trap. So you've caught the swarm. They've been in there several days. You can leave them in there quite a while. It's not a bad idea to leave them in there for a while, so they can actually, the queen can start laying eggs. They get acclimated to the area. They build the comb in there. So you've got items that's going to make them want to stay. So what you do, you've got it down out of the tree. You've opened it up. Obviously you have your smoker ready and so on and so forth. Protection on. But then you're going to cut that comb out of there. Okay? And if you're lucky enough to find the queen, go ahead and put her in a queen clip, set her down in your box. The bees will actually go into that box pretty easily. So you're going to take a knife and you're going to cut the comb off of there. Okay? You're going to take, and remember where you've cut it because the comb has an angle to it, but this is an open frame. There's no foundation on it. So this makes it easy if you take little nails and drive it into the frame and put rubber bands on it. And you can just cut all that comb out of there. Okay, you got all kinds of comb in there because it was very successful, and they started up real quick, or you waited quite a while for them to for you to open this up. But then you just take rubber bands and put on the face of this, and then it's ready to go into the box. Now you can take rubber bands and just pull over a frame. The only thing is you're kind of raking it across the bees that are flying onto this and so on and so forth. This works pretty good for me. So, but there you have it. So this is a very easy project to build yourself a swarm trap. And like I said, you put it on a stick, get it up in the air. They like to be in the shade, but they also like to be able to see this. The scout bees need to see this and obviously smell it with your swarm attractant. So I wish you all success in catching your swarms and your beekeeping ventures. And I want to thank you for subscribing to my channel. And please hit like and have a great day. Thank you.